Guys, NIO's president said there's another surprise coming very soon. Wow. And also, he talked about why ES8 is capable of achieving such a low price and why it's going to win and succeed, which we're seeing right now on the ground here in China. So much demand for the brand new ES8, which is very, very nice. But first of all, willingly shared this video, which is, of course, Anvil L60's rolling out of the factory, driving by itself into the parking lot, which is absolutely amazing. I think one of the biggest surprises for me personally, and I guess this is extremely bullish, is the fact that there's a resurgence of the Anvil L60, and it's doing surprisingly well. Because before the launch of the Anvil L90, I talked to the Anvil manager. He said they had to spend so much time and effort explaining the brand, and there's not as much publicity for the brand. People don't know the brand, and people are hesitant to buy a vehicle, despite that car being much better than the Model Y in terms of price and specs and everything. So after the launch of the Anvil L90, there's massive interest in Anvil L90 and more publicity. And now, thanks to Anvil L90, more people, they checked out the Anvil L90 and they see the Anvil L60 and they're like, wow, that's a great car, right? And then they end up purchasing that car thanks to the traffic brought in from the Anvil L90. So we were seeing massive increase in Anvil L60 orders. And beforehand, we all thought that maybe Anvil L60 kind of didn't do too well. So record orders for the Anvil L60 for the month of August, 30% higher than July. The best there has ever been for the Anvil L60, which is quite nice. And I'm seeing a lot of Anvil L60s on the road as well. Also for these Ubers, basically in China, Didi, they're the Uber of China. A lot of these guys are driving Anvil L60s as well because it's just so economical. The energy efficiency is so high, and also battery swap makes it super convenient. They don't have to waste time to charge and stuff. So that's a big win for NIO right there. Anvil L60 doing well. So this is something to keep in mind. Now, NIO's president, he said, when he was here in Beijing, he said that there's another surprise coming for the ES8, okay? And he said, well, why don't you just watch the clip, all right?
This is also Brother Bing's idea. First battle is decisive NIO pre-released versions and prices for the first time. All preparations were made as if for official release. Product price comparison might have slight differences, but mainly during the pre-release, we've already fully revealed the car's look and business plans, so this time we're truly offering sincere upfront pricing. The official release might still have small surprises.
So what he meant by that is that there's also going to be a surprise when they officially launch the price of the ES8. When they did that launch event a few days ago, that was the pre-sale price, and then they will have an official price, which is probably going to be lower. And then he said there's a surprise, which I guess will be maybe the price or maybe some extra cool benefits or something like that. We'll have to see, but that just means that there's going to be even more demand for this car because there's going to be another shocker. So this is pretty nice. And here is him explaining why the ES8 is such a big winner, such a blockbuster. Have a listen.
The third reason, or rather the first, is that large three-row SUVs are our company's foundation. This is our starting point, our roots, and an area where we should excel. Second, we've seen excellent competitors changing the industry. They all have influential three-row SUVs. So in the high-end car market, it's still likely the pinnacle. Third, large three-row SUVs can incorporate more advanced technology, use better materials, and challenge our spatial design skills. It can better embody our ideas, tech, and new innovations.
To put it simply, this is just skill. In recent years, when talking to media and users, I've often mentioned the concept of R&D costs. We've struck a balance in the middle. We've optimized extensively from tech choices to product definition to R&D, yielding comprehensive results.
So this is pretty interesting. Well, basically, it's all thanks to the R&D that they've spent. And keep in mind that nobody else can make a car as luxurious, as high-tech as a NIO ES8 at that price point, okay? Because they simply haven't invested that amount of R&D money to be able to make that car with that many features, such as the massive frunk in the car. To keep in mind what NIO is up against, look at Audi's frunk. I mean, that's tiny. Is that even considered a frunk? I mean, what can you put in there, man? And then you have NIO right now, because of the massive spending on R&D, they've been able to really self-develop so much stuff and makes everything so much cheaper, so much better, and have so much space and storage in the car. Nobody can match this. Okay, nobody can match this. All right, they are number one in terms of tech features, storage space in the car. And even if they were to match it, their cars would be much more expensive. So this is just a huge winning factor for NIO. And I think this is a big shift in people's perspective of NIO, because before people all thought NIO is all about battery swap and good service and that's it. But now you see NIO has some of the best tech out there, and the tech is also a big moat for NIO. Okay, nobody else has a 240-liter frunk that the L90 has. Nobody has a 230-liter frunk that the ES8 has. So that's absolutely crazy. So thanks to R&D, they've been able to increase margins, lower expenses, make the car much better than the competitors. And the competitors are simply panicking, right? They have to do massive discounts, perhaps sell the car at massive losses to be able to compete. So this is a pretty nice shift for NIO, in my personal opinion. And this is pretty nice. NIO is winning. This is a long-term strategy, right? If you focus on R&D, you're going to get great products, great results. Everything self-developed also means everything's cheaper. You don't have to pay suppliers and buy their stuff. It also works the same with battery swap stations. This was first exemplified in the first gen battery swap station. That battery swap station cost 3 million RMB and it only had 5 batteries, right? And swapping was quite slow. And then the second gen swap station cut that by almost half. It was like 1.5 million and it had 13 batteries. And the third gen swap station made it even cheaper. Why? Because they don't have to, the first gen swap station, they used other people's patents. They had to pay those patent fees, right? And that created massive expenses. And then they developed their own stuff. They're able to make it cheaper. And then the third gen, fourth gen swap stations, now they have 23 batteries in the station, and they're able to keep the price at about like 1.5 million, a little bit less than that per swap station, 1.5 million RMB, which is around like 250,000 US dollars per swap station. So it's just all thanks to R&D, guys. Yeah, R&D investment is really important. So we're seeing NIO become products that will have future success. So this is really nice. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.